Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my Cyberwall session for parents. We're very grateful that you've joined us today. My name is Angela. I'm the CEO of my Cyberwall, and my husband, Stuart, is in the chat and will be answering any questions that you have as we're going along on this webinar. So first of all, yes, thanks for attending. It shows us how we all as parents are so interested in our children's education. And what we're going to do today, as your school has purchased what we call a school license to my Cyberwall, we're going to show you how your child can use my Cyberwall at home and obviously get the best out of using my Cyberwall. The good news is that you have already paid, or your school has already paid, so there's obviously nothing to pay at the moment, and hopefully if you did have to pay your school as a compulsory stationery item, you would have got a hugely discounted rate. So we're going to cover suggestions and tips, and what I would suggest is that after this session is that if you sit with your child, get them to log into my Cyberwall with you and maybe show you around and how it's used at school. So I'm going to be turning my screen in a minute and demonstrating a learner account to you so we can have a look at what your child will see and what they'll be doing. After this session, we will send out a recording as well. We do have a YouTube channel where last year's Recall Parent session is recorded and on there, and I'll show you how to access that as well. We're going to be on the demo about 20 minutes, and we'll have some questions at the end, but you're more than welcome to ask questions in the chat as I'm demonstrating. I won't be able to see once I've shared my screen, but Stuart will be there, and you can see he's put the support number there, is that if you do have any problems, obviously to contact your school, but you have also got our email address there, support@mycyberwall.co.za, if there's anything that we can do to help you. So the aim of my Cyberwall is to make learning interactive for the learners, your children, obviously to save some stress and time for teachers, but hopefully for you as parents as well. I know when our children were in primary school and they used to come home and ask for help with things, and even grade 7 maths was quite tricky at that stage. So yeah, we hope this will save you having to get a tutor or to spend time with your kids as well. I'm not saying don't spend time, but hopefully it will make it a lot easier for you. Okay, any questions, obviously post in the chat. I'm going to turn my screen now and we're going to start. So you should be able to see my screen, which is the login page of my Cyberwall. I can't see you anymore, but as I said, Stuart will be handling the questions. Okay, so let's just go through how you can use, or how your child can use my Cyberwall. So obviously you can help them if they're struggling with anything. There is a video for learners, which is on our YouTube channel, and I'll show you how to access that later. If your school hasn't shown it to them, and we do tell the schools, please show it to the learners. It will avoid obviously a lot of user errors. So we strongly encourage you to watch it with your child as well if your school hasn't done that. Okay, so the first thing is you need to be connected to the internet. So you can see I am connected to the internet here, and the browser that I'm using is Google Chrome. So my Cyberwall will work on all the normal browsers. So maybe you want to use Safari or Edge or Firefox, that's fine. Don't use a defunct browser like Internet Explorer, for example. It doesn't work anymore, and my Cyberwall won't work on it. You can use it on any device as well. So whether you've got a large screen Mac like I have, or a small tablet, a Samsung or whatever, iPad or a normal computer, that should be absolutely fine. Obviously, some of the older type of devices, so your version 1s or something, if it's like 10 years old, it might not work. But obviously on all the more recent devices, you will see that my Cyberwall will work. All right, so on the front of the site here, you will see our social media buttons. I'll take you to the YouTube channel at the end. We'd love you to follow us on Facebook. We do a lot of posts for parents as well as teachers. So we have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we have a YouTube channel. And we'd love you to tell your friends as well about my Cyberwall, and possibly encourage them to buy a license if their school doesn't have a license or hasn't purchased for the learners. The other thing I wanted to tell you here was how to log in. So how to get onto My Cyberwall in the browser. Your child just type www.mycyberwall.co.za. And sorry, I've got a page up there which I have bookmarked. But you just would or your child would just type in that and press enter, and it just comes up as Cyberwall Public, which is correct. This is the correct page here. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole page here. I don't think there's anything that you need to know here. The only thing is the contact us button. If you do have problems, you can contact us via that button there. So let's log in. So your child to log in will just click on there and they enter the username and password that they've been given to by the school. They must enter it exactly as it's been given. It's just like your internet banking. You can't add spaces, you can't change capitals, you can't put punctuation in. So it must be exactly as it's been given. And if there is a problem with that, you can contact the school or contact us. We do not allow the learners to change their passwords. If we did, obviously, could you imagine how chaotic that could be? But if they do need to change their password, they need to go to the school and speak to whoever is the administrator for My Cyberwall in the school, and they will change the password for them. So we're going to log in as if we're a learner. So I'm not going to log in as Angela. I'm going to use my learner account, which is Boris Becker, and we are going to log in. Okay, so let's just go in. There we go. So I've logged in. It tells me I've successfully logged in. The first thing your child will see is their name at the top right. And it's very important that they do log into their account and they don't share accounts. So if, for example, they are sharing accounts or they're logging into 2 accounts at the same time, you can't do that, obviously, because we can't have sharing of accounts. It's obviously a security feature. So if they try to log in and they got a message that came up and said you're already logged in, it means possibly, for example, they've logged into one computer at home and then another one at school. So the way to avoid that is to always get your child to log out after each session. And the log out button is on the top right here, those 3 dots, and all they do is log out. So it will always, if that happens, kick out the first one that logged in, and the second one will be able to log in. So there's no simultaneous logins allowed, basically. So now you'll see what My Cyberwall covers. We just want to say we have been going for about 10 years. We have schools all throughout South Africa and also in Eswatini. It is CAPS-aligned content here and has been designed by teachers. We do constantly upgrade and update all of the materials on My Cyberwall. And in fact, at the moment, we're busy with the first edition of languages. We're adding more content, more assessments, etc. And I'll explain what we've got and which grades that we've got. So although you can hear my British accent from many years ago, this is a South African site, and I have been in South Africa for many decades, but I have just retained my accent. So we're not a British product, we are a proudly South African product. Okay, so now that we're into My Cyberwall, let's just have a look at the subjects and the grades. So you can see we cover grade 4, 5, 6, and 7. So just to change from grades, you always put the grade in first, and you'll see the subjects. And the first time your child logs in, they will see these screens here. But afterwards, then they navigate on the left-hand navigation bar. And we're going to do that now and just have a look around. So your child, even if they're in grade 7, they can access grade 6 or grade 5, etc. If they're in grade 4, they can access grade 5. We don't close it off. We allow learners to move up and down if they need to. So they can go back to a topic if they're struggling, or they can go on a bit faster if they want to. So in terms of the subjects that we offer, the first additional languages are Afrikaans, isiZulu, and isiXhosa. Those are the first additional languages. We don't have the full curriculum for those, but I'll come back and show you what we have. English is our home language, and then we have the social sciences, geography, history. We have the full curriculum for both of those subjects, life skills, maths, and technology. And then in grade 7, we have the additional subjects, which are technology and life orientation. So those are the full academic subjects there. Don't worry if your school is not a CAPS school. If you do IB or Cambridge, we do have many clients whose schools follow those curriculums, and it's absolutely fine to use my Cyberwall because we do have a bit over and above what CAPS offers as well. All right, so in terms of the home language, let's just look at English. So these are your menus, if you like. Let me just show you those, and then we'll go and have a look at some of the different content. So for English, we have all the language use, which is your grammar. We have all the writing, exactly as per the CAPS. We have the reading comprehensions, again, exactly as per CAPS. We do have practice assessments as well. I'm going to show you those at the end. And we have annual teaching plans. Don't worry about those. Those are really just for the teachers. So that's what we have for English home language. If we look at Afrikaans, what do we have? As I said, we don't have the full curriculum. We don't have reading, we don't have readers, and we don't have writing. But what we do have is the language use, which is all the grammar. There's vocabulary, and there's the assessments as well. So there's plenty for your child to be doing. I did mention with the isiXhosa, we are developing that more at the moment. So we do have vocabulary. We've just developed the grade 4 language use. You'll see here it's exactly as per the CAPS. And we are adding the exercises for isiXhosa as well later in the year. isiZulu, we do have schools that buy us just for the isiZulu. I think we are the only online resource in the country for the first additional languages. That's why we want to build on them a bit more. So we have got language use, we've got vocabulary, and we've got assessments. We're just adding the isiZulu assessments this year. So you'll see we're just busy with the term 2 assessments now. But you'll see all the term 1 assessments are there, and they have also been aligned to the annual teaching plan for 2023 and 2024. Okay, so those are the menus. So let's just have a look obviously at one. We can't obviously look at all the subjects. I'm just going to pick maths for now, and I'm going to go to grade 7 maths. Now, one of the great things about my Cyberwall, apart from the fact that you obviously really, your child should be using my Cyberwall online, everything is downloadable and printable. So even if we have the dreaded load shedding, if you know, for example, your child is doing numeric and geometric patterns, it can be downloaded and it can be printed. So they still have work to do when you have load shedding or when you can't get on the internet. So I'm going to go into maths grade 7. I'm going to just choose which one? Geometry of 2D shapes. This is the whole curriculum here for grade 7 maths, and this is the menus and indexes. Let's just go into that one there. So here we have the content. I'm just going to use this arrow on the top left to make my page bigger. I'm also just going to zoom my browser a little bit so it's a little bit easier for you to see just for the demo. Your child can do this as well if they want to make the text bigger. So you'll see now for geometry of 2D shapes, we have contents there, we have exercises, we have links, web activities, and videos. Let's just have a look at what each means. So let's look at the content. So the content you can, or your child can open up each section, section by section. This can be printed from the top here if they want to print everything on geometry of 2D shapes. There's the PDF button here. So let me just download it. So it's downloading, and that brain throbbing shows my internet is working. Might be a little bit slow because it should be really less than a second. There we go. And you will see then we have downloaded that whole section, which is 11 pages on geometry of 2D shapes. It's all nicely illustrated, as you will see, for example, with examples. So you can see, I'm sure that your child can use this for revision and for homework. Your school might be setting or assigning work for your child to do at home. We're going to talk about how they do that, but obviously your child can use it for revision for tests and exams as well. Let's look at the next section. So the next section is the names of triangles. So if you wanted to just download the section, you go to the PDF button here, and that will just download the section on triangles. So let's have a look at that. So that is my PDF of just the different types of triangles. Okay, so there's all the different sections. I'm not going to go through each one, but I think it will give you an idea. You see it's all nicely illustrated. It's pretty colorful. and it's quite nicely laid out for your learner to be attractive. As I said, we do update all the content, like literally all the time. We're busy with stuff, so you'll see things do change. And then you'll see the exercises. So let's talk about the exercises. This is something that sets my Cyberwall apart. Your child can work on my Cyberwall's exercises whenever they want, even if the teacher hasn't assigned it, and they will get a mark for it. So let's just have a look here. They write their answers in the blocks here. And what they would do at the end is they press submit and they will get a score. We're going to try a couple of those in a moment. I have to find one where I know the answers, I must say. So they can practice these as much as they like at home. A lot of the exercises, about 80%, will auto mark, so they will get a score and they will be able to see their answers, what they got correct and incorrect. Sometimes, though, there will be what we call a manually marked exercise. We're going to have a look at those as well. With the manually marked exercises, the teacher will have to, okay, here's an example. Let's have a look at this one. This one's called classifying quadrilaterals. So it's very, very important that your child reads the example or the instructions at the top here. So it says enter only one example for each question in lower case. So the answer here, I guess, is square. So I'm writing that in lower case, and I would press submit, and it tells me I have 1 out of 5 right, which is correct. And you see immediately something has popped up here, which is my answers. So my answers, let's have a look in here. This is the answer, my answer sheet of what I put in. It's just downloaded, and it will tell me what I have correct and incorrect. Let me make the page bigger. So what it's done here now, it showed me my name, my score, when I submitted, when it was marked. And remember, I only put one answer in, which it marked as correct. So let's just show what happens when I do it incorrectly. And let's say I didn't read the instruction properly, and I put in square with capitals, or I put in a full stop or something that shouldn't be there, and I press submit, and obviously it shows me I have naught there. Okay, so that is just to show you how it's really important they follow the instructions. I'm going to explain these buttons now as well. So let's have a look at what is the difference between save and submit. I'm just going to refresh my browser, and we're going to do that one again. That was classifying quadrilaterals. Let me full screen my page. If you do have any questions as we're going along, please obviously put it in the chat for Stuart. Okay, let's just have a look at this exercise again here. Remember, I'm in a learner account, which will be like your child's. So one of the things that learners get confused about is the difference between save and submit. Save means, for example, if they were busy with this exercise and then they had to go out or go to sports practice or something, they haven't finished, they would press save, which means they're going to come back to it later. It does not submit it to the system. Only when they're absolutely finished do they press submit. So this one, for example, I'll just show you how it works. I'm just going to put some gobbledygook in here just so you can see. So there we go. So let's pretend that was my answers. And now let's say I'm going to netball practice. So I can't finish it. I don't have time. So I'm going to press save. Okay, it's telling me it has saved. The ones that don't save are the drag and drops, the crosswords, and the word searches. Those exercise types are generally very quick, and they have to be done in one session because they are a live script. Okay, it's the ones that may take a little bit longer that you can save though. Okay, so it's saved. So let's say now it's the next day and I have gone into English and I've been writing a personal story, for example. Now I want to go back to that work to finish it. So I'm going to go back to grade 7 maths. Remember, I press save. I was in geometry of 2D shapes. And now you're going to have a look at that, classifying quadrilaterals. And your child's going to think, oh no, my answers have gone. But all they need to do is press load save. Okay, can you see the answers pop back up? So it means that it did save it. So I know I've got this all wrong, but let's say I'm finishing off now, and now I'm ready to submit. So only now I press submit. There we go. I've got nothing correct because obviously I put nonsense in there. If you do want to have a printed copy of the exercise, or your child does, you will go and just print the exercise here, and it's downloaded. So you do have a hard copy there if you want to download it and print it. Okay, so any questions on that? Please ask Stuart. What I want to show you though is how the learner calendar is used. So your school might be assigning work for your child to complete at home or at school. So remember, they can practice the exercises as much as they like at home. They're automatically marked ones. They'll get the score and they'll know what's right and what's wrong. So it's obviously building their competence the more they practice. But often there'll be work that is set by the teacher, and they will know that they have work set by the teacher in a couple of ways. And then let me show you that. So first of all, this bell ringing here. This bell ringing means that there's assignments that have been set. So they can just click on here and it will show them they have an assignment. It's English, dismiss. I'm just dismissing them. This will actually stop the bell ringing, but I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about it. This is a mock account, so I've set up lots here. If they want to have a look at the assignment, they can use this I button here and go in there and have a look. But I think it's much easier for your learner, your child, to use their calendar. So let's look at how to do that. So here is Boris Becker's calendar, and you will see a whole bunch of dots all over the place. Each color represents a different subject. Your child will get used to that. It's the same subjects as you'll see in the content pages. So let's have a look at tomorrow's date, which is the 28th. Hopefully you can see it at the bottom of my page, and you will see that there's 3 dots there, 2 green and 1 purple, and it will say there's 3 assignments. So you'll see on the 17th, there's 10 assignments have been set there. That's a lot. That used to happen when my kids were in primary school, and then all the assignments would be set for the same day. We do, when we train teachers, obviously tell them to use the calendar and make sure that children aren't overloaded on one day, but obviously we're not in control of that. But let's look at these ones on the 28th here, and I'm going to just open that up. And you will see sometimes an instruction there, and other times the teacher won't put an instruction in. Don't worry about that. And this will say complete for homework. I know this is geography, so the teacher has assigned this. So let's just have a look and do this. So it's actually telling me a little bit about the assignment. It will tell me I haven't submitted it. It hasn't been marked. I don't have a score yet, and I have 1 attempt. So if I was Boris, let's go and do this. I'm not going to do the whole thing. And a warning will come up to say if it is their last attempt. Sometimes the teacher will set only 1 attempt, so they'll get that warning. And sometimes it's more than 1 attempt. So let's press OK. So I'm just going to full screen here to make this easier. I'm just going to make my browser smaller as well, just so you can see what I'm doing. So this is what we call a drag and drop exercise, and they have to label the layers of the earth here. This is grade 7 geography. I'm not going to do too many, but let's just do, okay, this one, I'll just do a couple. And all they do is they drag it and they release it into the correct place. Actually, let me do the whole thing. I'm going to do it all correctly. And maybe I should just let me do 1 or 2 things wrong. Okay, so that is actually wrong, I think. And this is going to be incorrect. Let's do the lower mantle here. So kids obviously like this because it's really interactive. It's more kind of touchy-feely, kinesthetic than just doing this on a piece of paper or seeing it on a piece of paper. So they're much more likely to retain it. So I'm done here. I did make a couple of mistakes on purpose. So now if I was Boris, I'm done and I want to submit. Okay, and that's right. It's told me I've got 6 out of 8 correct. I'm going to close it and my answer sheet will come up here. It's just downloading. There we go. And it shows in red what I have incorrect. These were the wrong way round, and everything else that is in green or has a tick next to it is correct. Okay, so that is my PDF of my answer sheet. Okay, any questions? Please ask Stuart in the chat. I see our time is getting ahead of us. Let's do one more. That is an automatically marked exercise. So your child will see their score immediately, and they can also go in here and they can click on here and they can also download their PDF And you'll see now this has changed. It says what the mark is and what the score is, and that they have no attempts left. Just want to quickly show you a manually marked exercise. So this is one for English. It's called, it's a poetry comprehension. So it's only one attempt here. So what the learner does here is you'll see each answer block there with an M. An M means manually marked. It means that the learner, the teacher has to mark it. The system can't mark this type of question, obviously, because it's what they call a short text or a paragraph. So I'm just going to put some X's in here. Obviously not the right answer, but your child will be able to put the answers in here, and they can also expand the boxes so they can write as much as they like. And when they've finished, remember, this is a manually marked. This will save if they haven't got time to complete it. Remember, they would save and then come back later and press load save to bring it back up to the screen. But let's assume now I'm done and I'm going to submit. And it says that the exercise will be manually marked by your teacher. Okay, so again, they can see the answer sheet there. If they go back into their calendar, they can click back in here and onto that one, and it will tell the learner that it has been submitted, but it is not marked, and obviously they have 0%. It means the teacher has to mark it. Okay. Right, so that is the two types of assignments that they might get. Just a couple of other things I want to show you is the other resources that are on here for your child. Apart from the exercises and apart from the content, you will find links, web activities, and videos. So let's go and have a look at a video. Okay, let's just go to a YouTube one. So what will happen is they will get what's called a pop-up here when they go away from my Cyberwall site. You must just make sure that their pop-ups are unblocked on their browser so they can access these. So you just press confirm and it will bring up the video, which I'm not going to play, but obviously that would be ready to play for them. So what we've done here, we've got about 12,000 links, videos, and web activities on the site. We've chosen them that we know that they are appropriate for learners. They do sometimes break, but we do quality assure them. So if you do find a broken link, yes, sorry, that is a little bit out of our control, but that's really for giving your child more information. Okay, so that is the videos and links. The other thing they might want to do is practice the assessments. So let's just have a look at the assessments. We do have the assessments for each term, whether that's a project or an investigation or an actual test. Let's find one that's a test that I can show you. Let's go to term 1 history. Grade 7, and you will see a practice test here. So this probably won't be the one that is going to be assigned at the end of term by your school, but it will give you an idea of the type of test that they will be getting. So obviously your child can practice this at home and they will be able to submit and get a score for everything apart from the manually marked section there, obviously, which the teacher has to score and you don't have the answer sheet for. But the rest of it they can practice, and you can also see the type of question that they would get in an assessment. So there's assessments for all the different subjects. We've just added the assessments here for isiZulu, and you see the English. There's lots of assessments as well for the languages. So they get reading, they have an essay, they have a visual text, they have a summary to do. There's a whole bunch of stuff which they do throughout the term, but these are also great for practice for them. The other section on my Cyberwall, which might be interesting for your child, is study skills. This is great before exams because it's got things like exam techniques and tips for them. There are videos to watch as well, and it really just helps them with things like setting their goals, managing their time, having good study habits, etc. So that's just a nice section to explore with your child. The other section, which is very useful for project work and also just as a global citizen, is to find out what's going on in the world, and especially as we know problems that we have, for example, load shedding, the energy crisis. So there's obviously a bit of an explanation here about what an energy crisis is. There's links, videos, etc. And there's lots of very topical subjects here, like waste and recycling, the ozone layer, climate change, etc. So yeah, great for project work, and there's a wealth of information and videos and links here. In the resources section here, you will, if you're struggling with anything or your child is, go to the user guide and the FAQs. That should help you if there's anything like logging in, logging out, printing, how to do assigned work, how the calendar works, etc. And the FAQs will also help you with that. I think I'm done now, so I'm going to log out because I see it is 6:30, and I am going to come back into the room and see if you've got any questions. Before I do that, let me just show you our YouTube channel. So you'll see this icon on our homepage here, and you can just click on there. And if you go to the playlist, you will see there is a playlist for learners and parents. And you will see that there is the learner video I was telling you about. I really do suggest your child watches that. And there is a parent video as well, which is a recording of exactly almost what we have done today, but that was last year's one. So please, yeah, if you need to do that. And again, here's our contact button if you need any help. So our Facebook as well, we'd love you to refer your friends. I'm just going to come back into the room and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I see there is some questions there. Hopefully Stuart's been handling them okay. So we'd love you to give feedback to your school. You are lucky that you have got my Cyberwall, and as your kids use it and practice more with it, you will see their results are definitely going to be improving. We really hope your children enjoy and benefit from using my Cyberwall, and that you as a parent, it makes your life a bit easier and less stressful because you do have that resource with everything there. Hopefully Stuart has answered all your questions. Okay, asking about access as a parent. Yeah, we don't have parent accounts, but you can go into your child's account with them, and we really strongly recommend that you do that. Yeah, I think that's about all. So if you have got any questions, post them in the chat. We'll hang around for a couple of minutes. And yes, please have a chat with your child this evening and say that you've seen my Cyberwall, and yeah, ask them to show you around. And yes, let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you. I've put a quick poll up here. So if you go to the tab that says polls, and there's just a quick question, it will take you 30 seconds. It's anonymous. Do you think your child using my Cyberwall will be beneficial for your child? Yes, no, or you don't know. We'd love you just to answer that, just to give us some feedback. We hope you've enjoyed the session, and I will send you a copy of the recording later in the week. And thank you for making the time to be with us. I'll say goodbye. Yes, there is a recording. We will be sending that out. Just give us a couple of days. Thanks, Jeffrey. Okay, bye everybody. Have a good evening.